Every rational thinking person who reads Galatians should say, I will hold to the gospel of grace alone, and I will reject anyone who attempts to reinsert even one precept from the law of Moses. This epistle contains the epitome of disregard for the Judaizers of the world and their corrupt attitude toward what Jesus Christ has done for us. Now, before we go on, I'm going to say something about the law of Moses. And every time I say it, I get an angry email from somebody, and it doesn't matter. Okay, this is the law of Moses. Is summed up in what? What is it summed up in? It's first thing he gave them. It's summed up in the 10 Commandments, okay? So law of Moses is summed up in the 10 Commandments. It is the basis for the 10 Commandments, but it's not all the law of Moses. The law of Moses goes on and on and on. And then after Moses is dead, as we're going to see in Sunday's sermon, the law of Moses continues because God speaks through prophets who are speaking under the law. So it's all a part of the law of Moses, okay? It's all there. It's all part of the same revelation. It's all part of the same dispensation, all right? When the law of Moses was nailed to the cross, the law of Moses was nailed to the cross. It doesn't matter if it's what Jeremiah said in Jeremiah 7:3, I'm making that up, I have no idea what he says there, or if it's what Moses said in Deuteronomy 5:12, or if it is what the Lord said in establishing the law of Moses in the first or second or third or fourth or fifth of the commandments, or any of the 10 commandments. It is one codified body of law. If God is not imputing sin to us, that means that the law is done. People make a distinction between the moral law, oh, the 10 Commandments are moral law, and then the ceremonial law, well, taking sacrifices and offerings down to Jerusalem, that's done. And they say, this is done, and then they go through line by line, they say, this is not done, this is done, this is not done. It is done. The law of Moses is done, every single bit of it. But somebody's already clicked off their computer, and so they've missed. This happened at the church one time. I was explaining this at the church, and the guy was listening. He was loving the beach. He was loving the sermon, and I said, the law of Moses is done, including the 10 Commandments, and he grabbed his wife, and they left. He waited 2 more minutes. He would have gotten the good news. The good news is that the law of Moses is repeated in part in the New Testament. It says in the New Testament, you shall honor your mother and your father. Therefore, that is binding on us. But sin is not being imputed if we don't do that. We will lose rewards at the Bema seat of Christ, okay? But thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength. I mean, you are to love the Lord. That's explained all the way through the New Testament. 9 of the 10 Commandments are repeated substantially in the New Testament, okay? One of them isn't. The Sabbath. It's completely talked against, and yet people say, we're bound to the law of Moses, and yet they go to church on Sunday. That you talk about some convoluted thinking there. That is people, I'm talking about people that say the moral law of Moses, the 10 Commandments. They have not been abrogated. They have been abrogated because we're not in church on Saturday. We're in church on Sunday, proving that one of the 10 Commandments is done. And if one is done, they're all done, unless they're repeated in the new as binding precepts on us. Just as everything prescriptive in Paul's epistles are, we are under those commandments. So don't get worried when I say the law is done. It is done. We still are to do those things, but if we don't, there's a difference. We're not being imputed sin. We are being judged for rewards and losses. That's 1 Corinthians 3, 9 through 11, I think, and then 2 Corinthians 5, 11 through 15, I think. I may be wrong on the verse numbers, but there you go. 1 Corinthians 3, 2 Corinthians 5. But pay attention to that right there, because the law of Moses is done, okay?